Hello, my name is Gladys Villanueva, and I am the Bilingual Teacher Preparation Ambassador for Ensenamos en el Valle Central. Today, I will be sharing a resource for you to check out and possibly use to create your Loteria card, if you would like, for our Loteria Card Contest. I would like to remind you all that this is an art contest and there is no one specific type of art required. We would like to encourage you to get creative. You're all welcome to digitally submit your work of whatever kind you feel comfortable engaging in. Art is so broad and encompasses so much. It is your choice or preference of expression. Having said that, you may find yourself wondering where to start. I do hope that whatever wonderful creative piece you come up with, you are able to either scan or convert to a digital file to be able to submit it or upload it onto our Google Form submission. Today, I will demonstrate how to use Canva, a free resource that helps you develop digital art and other working templates as well. The nice thing about this resource is that it makes it really easy for you to just download your work of art as a PDF, PNG, and or JPEG, which is what you'll be able to submit to the Google form. Now onto the fun part. I've been using Canva for about 2 years now, and I personally have a free account. I am by no means an expert, and I find it to be pretty user-friendly. The first thing you need to do is go to canva.com, that's canva.com, and hit this purple sign up button on the top right. You can sign up using Google or your Facebook account. That's your choice. If you already have an account, that's great. Let's move on here. Today, we're going to be making a card that's going to kind of look like this. I wanted to show you all my end result. So you see what we are kind of working towards, right? It's always good to start with the end in mind. These are just some examples of what you could potentially do. I chose to look at traditional Loteria cards kind of as a guide because I needed something to focus on because I myself am not like a proclaimed artist. I may have some skill or talent from my mom, but I consider myself an educator that's able to do or produce art, but in different forms. For me, mostly it's food, but I am going to attempt to make this card. I mean, I did make this one, so I'll show you how I made this. So this is going to be what we'll work towards, and this is the front of the card, and this will be the back of the card. So traditional Loteria cards, which are either pictures of like musical instruments, people, animals, plants, or food. It's one of my favorites, la sandía. They have a number on the top left for reference when playing the game of Loteria. And so I wanted to include that just because that was my vision, but you don't have to do that. You can do absolutely whatever you'd like. This is an example of me putting the number on the top left and just putting the name of whatever is in the card, because typically cards have la, el, or los something. You don't have to do that either. Again, the card we're using as the example today says Ensenamos because we are Ensenamos, and that's just one word, right? I know that a lot of us are millennials and tend to use hashtags as our communicative repertoire, and I decided to add a hashtag on here. This hashtag does represent what Ensenamos is, which is us growing our own, right? Growing our own bilingual Latinx teachers, that is. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Once you get into canva.com and you've created an account, and I definitely recommend creating a free account. If you have Pro, that's great. That means you have a little more creative liberty, but you don't have to sign up for a Pro account and pay for it. Feel free to just use the free one. You're going to click on this purple button, Create a Design. And it gives you lots of different options. And when you hover over them, you'll see that on the far right, or right next to it in a bit of gray text, it shows you the dimensions of what you are to be making, right? So initially, when I was going to make this, I was thinking about doing it postcard size. And if that's what you would like to do, you can. But I think when you click on this postcard, which is at 5.5 by 4.3 inches, it might be landscape. And so I really wanted to do a card that stood upright, and I couldn't find something on this drop-down menu that would work for me. I mean, there is a 7x5 card here, but again, I didn't know this size. And so instead of just picking something like I traditionally do on this drop-down menu, I just went ahead and clicked this custom size. So this plus, you click it there, and then you get to choose the width and the height and what type, whether it's pixel, inches, millimeters, or centimeters. So I just went ahead and clicked inches. So you can see that it's there on my recents. So I'm going to put 4 by 6 and click Create New Design. And that takes us to a new workspace. We could call it that, like a blank canvas. Okay, I want you all to notice that we have a menu here to our left. Templates, elements, uploads, text, and there is a button for more. I don't think we're going to need anything more than what's listed here. Again, I tried to keep this as simple as possible. So I started out with an element. So for me, I really like this, and you just click on the element that you like. I really like this box because I can manipulate it to go as wide or as narrow as I'd like on either direction. The reason I like this is because it has like rounded edges. I don't know if you can see that there. And also you can change it to whatever color you'd like. Now notice I am clicking and dragging out to the edge. And the reason I know where the edge is because Canva is set up to show us where the margins are. So I don't know if you can see that purple line, and you can't see it there, but once I hit it, even though it's invisible, it shows up. I absolutely love, that's one of my favorite features from Canva, that that purple line exists and it tells me how far to go. Now it shows up when you hit it or go just past it. You can also go to File on this drop down menu and tell it to show you the margins, and then it shows up as a dotted line. I don't know if you can see it there, so that that's where I like to take my text, my colors, anything that I'm using, so there is a nice border around it. I know that Loteria cards don't have that big of a border, but again, this is your card and you can do whatever you'd like. So you can click out. I can put this away so it doesn't bother, and you can just focus on this card. When you click on an element, the menu up top allows you to do different things to it. So again, we're doing this design here. That's going to be our Loteria card. The cool thing about Canva is that it's constantly saving. It tells you here, all changes saved. Once you created something, it lives there unless you delete it. At the very end, we'll be hitting this download button too, but we're going to create, it's always good practice to name it something so you know what it is. When you click on an element, I'm seeing the things that I can do to it up here. So I know that this little box, and when you hover over it, it tells you this is the color menu. So when I click on it, I can choose what color I want. So some of you are familiar with colors, whether you have some graphic design background or not, and you can use those numbers there. I forget what the technical term is. Again, I'm not a graphic designer or artist, but you can look you can look it up that way if you already have colors in mind and you know the number, or you can add a new color. You can click here and find the color that you want on a color wheel. I usually just use these default colors, and then when I upload something, it suggests or recommends others. So I think I really like this teal color. I don't remember, I think this is the one we used for the sample I was showing you all. Let's see. Yep, that looks like the color I used. And then you can click on this text option on the menu on the left. And really, there's a bunch of options here if you want to scroll through them and see if there's something you like a particular font. When you hover over things, it tells you whether it's free or not. So if you have a free account, you're able to use anything that's free. Once you get to these little crown looking things that's a pro, that means that you can't use that unless you upgrade to a pro account. So I usually just avoid them and use the things that are free, because there are quite a bit of options. So like this is neat. I like there's a little bit of design to that. I like this font here, so I could like click on that. And if you see, this is like, again, a template. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm not going to use this. So if I click on it and hit delete, it'll go away. I just want this part. And then I usually just highlight it and write what I want to write. And it just takes over, right? So it's just a template. You can move that text. I want to center it there. You can change the actual font to whatever font you want. And add or take away whatever you'd like. If you notice, we did delete what was here, but in a sense, it still kind of lives there. So this button is kind of magical. If you hit ungroup, it'll separate what you were given at first. So I am then free to move this away. If I hadn't ungrouped them, it would move all together. So this is where I'm going to put my hashtag that I had earlier. Hashtag growing our own. Whoops, did I put a space there? I'm just so used to putting spaces, but in hashtags, you don't traditionally have spaces. So I'm gonna put that centered there in the middle. That's kind of a fun font, huh? And I just wrote in really large Loteria card sample, right? But I had one word in our sample card. And let me go back to that and show you all. This is the front of my card, and I just used one word here. So there's one word there, and if you click outside, you're not manipulating anything. When you go back in, you can drag. Look, it tells you where the center of the document is. So that's the very middle. But I want this here down at the bottom so that I can put a graphic here centered, right? Usually our Loteria cards have a really nice solid background and then some sort of image in the middle or a graphic. Now to do that, you can go to the elements section and type in anything you'd like to search on Canva's like bank of images. Like for example, I had, these are my recently used ones. This came up a little while ago. So I can quite literally just put that image there and center it. And there's a Loteria card, right? Like this could very well be in a deck of Loteria cards. And again, that's an image that's in the bank of what Canva has to offer under elements. I'm going to go ahead and delete that and show you what other things you can do. Right below this elements option on the menu is uploads. And these are the things that I have uploaded onto Canva from either my computer or something I had saved to be able to use it, right? So like my sample card that I showed you all, this is our colibri that is emerging or flying out of this agave that represents what Ensenamos is, right? Us growing our very own. And so these are our bilingual teachers emerging from what represents us here in the Central Valley as Latinos. So I have uploaded that because I have that file on my computer and it lives here in my uploads. If you are using this for the first time, what you will do is push this purple button, hit upload media, and choose where it is coming from. And so I clicked this folder and then chose where it came from on my desktop, right, on my computer. So it'll load and then it will live here, and then you can click on it and manipulate it for it to come on here. I actually really like the size that it suggests there, and quite frankly, this is it. This is our card here. You can see it when I blow it up here, our large card. I think I really like the dimensions of that, but I want you to know that you can, again, manipulate the image to make it larger or smaller. You can also double click in order for it to like allow you to crop. Like say I wanted to make them crop it down to a little more narrow so that I'm able to enlarge it even more. That's possible as well. Oh, it looks nice and big. And then I'm centering it. And then I'm seeing that growing our own is kind of covering the wing, the tip of the wing. So I'm just going to move it up just a little more. There we go. See that things are kind of centered, nice and large, right? And again, that's it. Like that can be my card submission there. These are uploads or elements that you've either come up with, have saved on your desktop, or you can use the elements that Canva provides. You can look up fruit, right? And let's see what we can find. And again, there are elements that are free and elements that are pro that you don't have access to. I know I've seen la sandía, el melón, la pera on a traditional like Loteria deck, card deck. Let's see, let's make a papaya one real quick. Once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to do other things. So for example, this is the front of the card and this is the back. And because I want to keep the same elements here, what I do is I just use this button up here that says duplicate page. It looks like two little rectangles with a plus. And so I have this here, and if I click it, I can just duplicate it. I love to use this button option on Canva because sometimes I look at things and I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm going to fidget with it a little more, but I want to still maintain the integrity of the original so that in case whatever changes I make I don't like, I still have that original, right? So I'm going to leave this here untouched and work on the one that I duplicated. So I'm going to take away this colibri and this hashtag, and I'm going to insert this free image of a papaya, which again, because Canva is providing them for free, you have access to, you don't need permission to use it. This is going to look like a traditional Loteria card, which again, yours does not have to because this is your art. I'm just going to put la papaya. And then do you remember how to add text to this? If we go up top, very simply, the easiest way to do it without going like I first showed you by using a template, you can just click either add a heading, add a subheading, or add a little bit of body text, and it shows you what it's going to look like. So I'm going to choose heading just because I like that size. And I am going to just put a number. I don't know, papaya makes me think, well, my favorite number is 6. I'm just going to use the number 6 and manipulate this so that it is where I want it to be. Look at that. Did you see how that purple dotted line comes up? It kind of suggests where it rests or looks good. So, but this looks like a Loteria card that could be on a deck that of Loteria, a version of Loteria that exists. And so again, this is very like simple. This is something you could use for like teaching Spanish words in class, covering fruit, right? And so la papaya, and there's that picture of papaya that's been cut in half with a number on top, like Loteria cards are typically found. But again, you do whatever feels right for you. You don't have to put a number up there. You can put a number that means something to you. The wonderful thing is that when you upload a submission for this contest, you do have to do a front, and we ask that you upload also a back of the card, just so that we have a little explanation of what it is that you made, right? So you as the artist have the creative freedom, again, to explain however you'd like what it is that you created. And so my example here is some words that explain what Ensenamos is. And so it states, Ensenamos en el Valle Central is focused on expanding and cultivating pathways for future bilingual and Latina, Latino, Latinx teachers. And it also shares our mission, which I think is a great way to share, like a fun way, instead of like a business card sharing, hey, this is Ensenamos and this is what we're all about. Our mission is to cultivate and sustain current and future Latina, Latino, Latinx teachers in the Central Valley who embody a commitment to equity, liberation, justice, and anti-racism. So for you, this can look like a poem, a haiku, a very short, brief, small explanation. It could be one sentence. This card represents me. State your name, why, who you are, or how. Again, you are the artist. This is your work, and you get to present it however you'd like, and your interpretation of what it is. I hope you all learned something new today and you had fun creating with me this Loteria card sample using Canva. Enjoy.